So today we're going to be going over your flip lesson plan for the week. And the flip lesson plan for this week, we're going to be talking about what is an adaptation. And so an adaptation is anything that an animal has physically or does behaviorally that helps them succeed in their environments. And the word succeed means to be able to prosper, or in an animal's case, ultimately be able to reproduce. And so that's what an adaptation is. And there are two different kinds of adaptations. The first adaptation is called a structural adaptation. Some of you maybe heard the word physical adaptation. And so organisms have structural adaptations, or they're also called physical attributes that help them meet a life need. And so an example of this in a human is I have eyes that help me see, which is a life need, and I have a mouth that helps me talk and communicate and eat, which are all life needs. And you guys have those needs too. And so some really cool examples of structural or physical adaptations. I'll show you a couple here. This fish has things called gills. I'm sure you guys are familiar. And it helps them breathe underwater, take in that oxygen that they find under the water. This dog, this puppy dog, has fur. And it gets thicker in the wintertime to help keep them warmer, and they shed it in the summertime. That helps keep them cooler. These webbed feet, you'll see these on like ducks or seagulls. I think this is a seagull in this case. And it helps them dive underwater, helps them swim faster, and it helps them, you see them floating on top of the water a lot, helps them with that. And this animal, you see these super huge, scary claws. It helps them trap their prey and help them climb up over these rocks in their environment. So those are some physical attributes or physical characteristics that animals have. And another physical characteristic of maybe even a plant, we don't really think of plants as something that would have an adaptation, but a cactus has the ability to store a lot of water, and so that storage is a physical attribute that helps it succeed in its life. And it has the quills on the outside, but that helps it be protected from predators. The second kind of adaptation is a behavioral adaptation. So you can think of a structural adaptation as something the animal or plant or human has. And a behavioral adaptation is something an animal does to succeed in its environment that also helps it meet that life need. And so I'll give you an example of a behavioral adaptation, and that's here. You can see this snake. Doesn't look like he's really doing much, but he's under a rock. And where these snakes live, this is a rattlesnake, it's really, really hot. And so snakes are cold-blooded, which means that their blood temperature changes regarding the area that they're in. And so they sit under this rock, and it helps cool their body down. So that's something an animal does when, humans can regulate their own blood temperature, but snakes cannot. So they have to do something in order for them to meet that life need of being cool. And so those are some really cool things about the functions of structural and behavioral adaptations. And so now you guys have been kind of looking over your notes, and be sure to fill those out before tomorrow. And today in your question corner, we have 3 questions that you'll be covering in the end part of your notes. And so your first one is, how do different organisms use their unique attributes to meet their needs? So how do you think of different organisms that we've talked about in the in this video, and so think of one that's kind of unique and how they might use a unique attribute to meet their needs. One that I can kind of think of is how birds migrate. That's a behavioral adaptation. They migrate to stay warm, to look for food, so that's kind of a unique one. So think of one of those and write that one down. The second one is, what adaptations do humans have to meet their needs? So humans are mammals, and so we have adaptations that we do and have that meet our needs. So think about a couple of those. And then what unique adaptations do you specifically have that help you meet your needs? Are you tall? Are you short? What physically and behaviorally are you doing or do you have that help you meet certain life needs? And so I'm super excited to do our experiment in class, and so I hope you guys found this video informative, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.